All right, so you're starting on a lowrider S. I saw it out there. It was that what is it, Nardo Gray?
Nardo Gray, yeah.
All right, so right now you're kind of still poking around, trying to figure out what direction you're gonna go with this.
Yeah, they want to do something that's, I guess, more sporty, more race themed. So I'm trying to figure out color combinations and what the basic design is going to be for the Nardo Gray, so I can use that either as a pinstripe color or a graphic color or a split. So I need to find a mask that I could use as a negative to put on top of that and add the rest of the colors, but I'm kind of trying to piece together the design right now.
Okay, okay. Well, how about we check back in a minute, kind of see where you're at with it.
Cool.
So what'd you land on?
I didn't.
Is you gonna go for it?
I'm just seeing how some shapes look on here.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do something that's going to translate to vinyl. So I tried to lay out a couple of things on the computer, but it's two-dimensional, so it's easier to try to translate it here, get it to work in tape first.
Yeah.
And then I can put that back on the computer. So I'm just playing with shapes just to see what I like as far as the base design.
Okay.
And then kind of go from there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Off to a good start.
Some educated guesswork. So I have the manual in the computer right now, so I'm working off of that to try to get where the curves are going to be, where the shapes are going to fall. I just don't know if I should go style-wise this direction or simplify it, I guess. If you're doing it on the try, you can get it on the fade. You know what I mean?
Ultimately, for time's sake, it'd be nice to be able to lay it out with one or two pieces of vinyl. I mean, is it a problem if this ends up being a two-tone? Or at least maybe a fade back into Nardo?
No.
Maybe a darker fade here, but fades back in, and then we've got a graphic that, just a nice graphic that comes through here that we puts the texture behind the actual logo.
Right.
Gotta be a way to get it to work. I mean, this shape doesn't bother me. I know it's atypical. What's going on? You know, it's
So, you think that makes sense to you?
it does. It makes absolute sense.
Try it on this one, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. The only thing that'll be weird is trying to get these things to lay out without crinkling like there with that.
Right, but I can make those adjustments as we go. You know what I mean?
If there was a, let's see where it goes.
So what are you thinking?
Well, I've translated a couple of patterns into vinyl. I went in the computer and I laid out basically three patterns that I already have a pre-existing pinstripe on that I can use the Nardo Gray as the graphic color or the pinstripe color and then work against that, let's say one or two other colors. And then that way it limits tape time, it limits spray time, and it's a faster turnaround. And right on. So that's my goal. Whether or not it works, I don't know, but we're going to find out here very soon.
I bet.
Figure out if I got to change any of the shapes. Hopefully I don't.
thinking these shapes are going to interact, or?
Well, I just have to make sure that everything's going to line up the way I want it to line up. I can manipulate it a little bit when I put it on there, but I want to try to minimize that as much as possible. I just make the adjustments in the computer and recut the vinyl. So I'm just trying to see how everything's fitting right now. So like if I want these two angles to be parallel, you know, it has a peak in it right now.
Yeah.
So I'm either gonna have to adjust that in the computer or figure out a different placement to put this, or a different spot to put this, that when it lays down, it's gonna lay down parallel.
Yeah,
So
these
like
two
that now.
matches, yeah.
As opposed to the way it was. So I can manipulate this side, not really no problem when I lay it down. So I'm not overly worried about that. I kind of want the center of the design all to be correct first. And then make adjustments as I need to.
Interesting. So you think you found a position you like for that vinyl?
I think so. I'm going to give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I can always peel it off. We'll see. Trying to let the vinyl fall where it naturally wants to fall instead of fighting it. You wind up with a lot less wrinkles that way and less problems later on.
Makes sense.
So some of the other pieces I might have to manipulate again in the computer to get to match, you know, all the angles that I want. But this is the primary, this is the graphic that's going to be up on top. So I want to get that where I want to put it, or where it's going to be, and then I'll work everything else around it. Vinyl ends, I'm just going to extend it with tape. Instead of making the whole thing, which is very difficult to lay out, I try to shorten it as much as possible, and this is just going to extend forward, so I can just do that with tape once I get the vinyl in place.
Okay. Get a crease in it, like what I have right there, you want to obviously minimize it, but I can relief cut that and then reconnect the vinyl if I have to. So it's not the end of the world. So when you do that, ultimately, are you making adjustments to the vinyl stencil going forward?
Yeah, so that'll tell me what I have to do. Once I get it in place, I can, like I said, I can relief cut it and I can still use it, but I'll create a new template from this, scan it into the computer, and then just adjust the old design to where the new design lays out. And I will hopefully won't have the problem again.
tape on there to give you a guideline. Because once this lifts up and you're looking at it, it's hard to tell where you want it to fall again. So I just run a little guideline that'll help me re-register where the vinyl is sitting. Not too bad.
So in a case like this where there's, you know, the contours of the tank aren't playing ball with the shape of the vinyl, why not use heat?
It's going to deform it too much because you have transfer tape on it, because there's an outline and there's other pieces. I don't want to separate that, but if I start to stretch it, it's going to change the dimension of the pinch stripe that I have on here. It might elongate it and thin it out, and I don't want to do that. Heat's good if this was going to stay on here permanently, but it's not. It's just easier, again, to just cut it. So, like this little wrinkle right here, if I just come in and I cut that, it's going to flatten out. You know, same thing with this one. I'll just cut it and flatten it out. I don't care about the inside because the inside's going to be a fill, but this will just flatten back out again.
Okay.
And it's not going to be that big of a deal. So, no harm, no foul.
Okay. Okay, I see what you did with the. I see what you did with the yellow tape there, extending that one out.
Yeah, it overlapped. I didn't like the angle on it, so I just adjusted it. Same thing with the back over there.
That's good.
And the first one's always tough, and then after that, they all kind of fall into place. But trying to design it and create the vinyl at the same time is a little bit of an undertaking.
What's inside?
Charcoal from here to here. Take fade something down here, or just do it fade black. Charcoal and have it fade all the way down to charcoal. Split. I just don't know if I want to cut it. I like that shape. I just don't know if I want to stop it, make it graphic, you know, over here, or I want to fill that and just keep it panel.
You want the flow?
I like that line, yeah. I just don't know if I want to. I can shorten it here to a point and just follow it down and just leave it Nardo and have the blend go through it. Or I could leave this Nardo and have the line go all the way to the end. You know what I mean? And just do my
I can let inside panel, like a stripe, you know.
I think you're gonna have to kill a little bit of the gray.
A little bit more of it, right?
Yeah, like this color, like I said, I think it's a nice gray, but it's just a lot. So I mean, if you faded a dark charcoal or something out this way to kill some of the real estate, or vice versa, maybe put a single pin through 16, just fade it down. Where are you going to put the Harley on the?
How's it going over here?
Good.
No, I like that. That break in
Finalizing the
that.
design. Making sure I'm super happy with it before I lay out the other side.
This is crazy that this came together. I didn't even. Yeah.
So I kind of like the shape. I kind of like the design, so I think I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, that's something, man.
Try and figure out colors. But yeah, I mean it's pretty much it. So I scanned the graphic that I changed into the computer, which is right about here. So that'll tell me the changes that I need to make once I overlap it with the ones that are in the computer already. It'll show me where I have to make the changes, move the nodes to then line up with where I want the graphic to fit, and then I won't have to alter the vinyl in the
Okay.
future.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, so I'm attempting to do all that right now.
It's some nifty techie work.
Yeah.
What step are we on now?
So I'm making a template for the other side so I can transfer it. Get a mirror image of everything I have on this side, lay out my guidelines on that side, put the vinyl down, just make sure that everything matches. This is the easiest way I found to do that. There's more than one way to do it, but I'm an old dog and it's not a new trick, so
Fair enough.
that's the way that I do it.
If it works.
If it works, right?
Yep.
Not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly.
So basically, I just have to make this fit the contour of the tank. I have a center line that I've lined it up with. I'll basically then take it, just invert the pattern against the center line, and it should fall in the exact same spot on the other side of the gas tank.
Okay.
And that's the idea.
So let me guess, you're working on the graphics for the other parts of the bike now.
Yeah, so I just figured out the dimensions for the width and length that I want for the front fender and the rear fender. So I resized the graphic onto here, and then so the program will put these lines into something called nodes.
Okay.
So those little dots right there. So then those are movable and
Yeah.
changeable based on what I want the design to do, to give the curves I want, etc. So I got it down to the size that I want with the same size outline. I've imported into a cut program, and then this program lays out where the vinyl is going to be. It'll send it to the plotter and cut it, and then I can weed it and apply it to the fenders. So that's kind of where I'm at.
It's pretty killer, man. So you just sent it over. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Get
so
to
then
see
the-
this thing in action.
Yeah, so then the plotter will cut it, and then I just weed out the parts that I don't want, and it gives me a vinyl mask to apply instead of laying the whole thing out by hand.
Yeah, and you use the transfer tape too, right, over the top.
Yeah, so once it's weeded, you pull out the section that you don't want. You take transfer tape, lay it across the whole top of that, and that pulls the outline and the fill and everything that you want all off at once, that you can apply it all at once.
Okay.
So if you had lettering, all the lettering would stay in a line.
Yeah.
And you pull
Exactly.
it all at the same time and then apply it at the same time, as opposed to trying to put each letter on and get it to line up, which is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it helps keep its form.
Yeah. So I'm cutting the background out that I don't want. I know it's hard to see, but you'll be able to see it in a minute. And what's going to be left, if I don't mess it up, which I just did. So what will be left is the graphic that I want to apply,
I see.
the outline and everything.
Okay. That comes off pretty smoothly.
Except for that one spot, yeah, which happens. It's only because you're filming me that it happened.
Right? If the camera wasn't rolling, it'd be smooth sailing.
So I usually cut a few of everything just in case I mess up like that. But when you apply it, obviously you have two sides. And that way I don't waste a whole bunch of material, because we're going to repeat the job, so I might as well cut them now while I can.
Yeah. Look at that.
These are the chips. I'm just going to try to fix this.
Boom. Okay. Now for the transfer tape.
I do that. I'm going to do that next week.
Oh, okay. What you got going on?
I'm trying to pick out colors for the design. I don't know. I have a fuzzy idea of what I want, so I'm trying to find chips that are going to match what I think are going to work well on the design.
Is there a general idea of kind of coloration you're thinking?
Yeah, I want to do something with red.
Okay.
So most of the colors are going to be neutral: charcoal, black, gray, and then I want a little bit of color in there. So I'm thinking red. So I'm just trying to find two reds. I need a dark red, bright red, and then I'll have those blended into the design just to
Okay.
give it a little life.
Right on.
And then you can interject different color into it as long as the other colors are neutral. If I wanted to do blues, you could do blues. You wanted to do greens, you could do greens. So you could customize the job if need be, and not just stick with the one since everything else is neutral. So I decided to go with red, and maybe next time it'll be blue.
Right. Okay. So like, keep the Nardo gray base, but have
Right.
like the color variations be within the graphics.
Yeah. So everything else is going to be like a charcoal fill, or a black fill, or a fade, or a silver. Again, very neutral, no real colors in it. And then you can interject a blue one if you want for your color, or whatever the customer may like.
Cool. Well, I'll be interested to see what you land on.
Right.
What reds did you ultimately went with a couple different reds?
I'm going to do like a deep, almost candy red that I'll probably fade in the background to black. And then I have Inferno red, which is like a really bright red. That's going to sit on top of one of the graphics just to give it a little bit of contrast. Lighter colors tend to come forward, darker colors tend to recede. So the graphic parts that I want underneath everything will be darker. The graphic that's sitting on top is going to be a little bit brighter.
Okay.
So I'll do a little bit.
the black before it to sort of dull the red?
Well, I want it to fade into black. Red is usually a difficult color to cover. So I wanted something underneath it. I wanted it darker. So by putting black on there, number one, it's easier to cover, and you want it with a darker base because the red is semi-transparent.
Right.
So the black kind of emanates from that. If I did it over white, the red would be a little bit brighter.
Right.
So I wanted it to fade it into black. It's just easier to put the black down first and then fade in the red. If you do it the other way around, it's just a lot more coverage. A lot more time to cover.
Okay. Makes sense. So, how's it turning out?
Pretty good. I got the blend done. So black to a pretty metallic red. Just peeled out the first graphic and getting set up the shoot color on that.
So I noticed there's like was that an 1/8 inch edge?
Yeah, so that's going to be like a pinstripe or a beveled edge going around that graphic. Setup is actually the same color that it is right now, the Nardo gray that we based it in. So it eliminates the step of hand striping it at the end.
Are most of your vinyls set up that way?
No, I'd set them up with the graphics because we're trying to eliminate any unnecessary time, so it's just easier to spray it and mask it off as opposed to doing it by hand.
Okay. Cool. Well, it looks like it's coming together real nice.
Thank you.
What are you doing with the tank then?
So I'm finishing the graphics on top and back taping those to protect them because I'm going to do a blend down here
Okay.
of a different color just to bring up the Nardo gray a little bit, drop shadow everything,
Okay.
and then I should be able to peel the whole thing. So for right now I'm just back taping this so I can shoot the blend.
that it? Oh, you got your
for
hub
that,
yet?
yeah, I still have to do that side.
Nice touch.
Better attitude, I'll say that.
So what do you think overall? You happy with how it turned out?
Yeah, I'm real happy. It's very sporty, racy style, which is what I was going for. Color combination is nice. Yeah, so we just got cleanups left, and then ready to clear.
I like the way you did the, what would you call that with the Harley-Davidson?
Nice drop shadow.
Drop shadow,
Yeah, it
yeah.
gives it a little dimension. It gives it, again, a little speed.
Looks good. It's a nice touch.
Thank you.
The layering. Yeah, man. Turned out excellent.